Okay. Yep. 7th graders, we're going to go through some of the practice problems you did from lesson 7-7. This was on transforming formulas. And we talked about how to transform formulas. It means solving for a different variable in the formula. Okay? So using the steps that we've learned about solving equations, how to remove something from one side by adding its opposite, or by crossing out by multiplying by the reciprocal, we can transform the formula and solve it for a different variable. Okay? So in your assignment, they give us some formulas. This one is the formula for volume, isn't it? The volume of something, the volume of this box, okay, is the length times the width times the height. Okay? Anytime you have a box, you find the volume that way. Multiply the length times the width times the height. But if you know the volume, and you need to find the width, for example, in this one they want you to find the width, then you have to transform this formula. So, what can we do to this formula in order to leave the width on this side, but cross out the length and the height? Chase?
Divide by 8.
Divide it by h, and what else do we need to cross out? That crosses out the h's
L.
and the l, and cross off the l's. Okay? Then we're left with the w. So we can bring that down. And then divide the other side by the same thing. LH. Now we can't actually do the division because we don't know what the numbers are, but we do know that this is the expression for it, so that is our answer. The volume divided by the length times the height equals the width. Okay? Any questions on this one? If you got this wrong, go back and redo it. Copy down how these are crossed out. And then bring down the W, bring down the width. And then understand what this means. Volume, this is the volume formula, divided by the length and the height will equal the width. Okay? Any questions on this one? Okay. Michael, if the length was the missing thing, what would the formula be?
The length of the missing thing would have been W. Divided by W.
Yes. And if the height was missing, what would the formula be?
LW.
Right? Once you understand simplifying, then you can transform it any way that you need to on anything. 7th graders, were any of you missing yesterday and missed picture day that I need to catch you now? That's what we're saying here. Okay. Well, I'm here for many reasons, but. Did you have any 6th graders out yesterday? No. Then I won't interrupt that. Okay. Let's go on to number 4. The perimeter. This is the perimeter formula for a square. If you know the side, the length of the side of a square, then if you multiply that length by 4, you get the perimeter. Okay? But what if you know what the perimeter is, and you need to find the side?
By the perimeter by 4.
Right. Cross off the 4's. And so the formula then is transformed so that the side length is equal to the perimeter divided by 4. Okay? Q equals PD. I'm not sure what this one is, the formula without the words. Okay? But it's related to number 5 is related to number 4. Yes? 1/4. 1/4 P equals S. Yes. So multiplying by the reciprocal is the same thing as dividing by 4. Multiplying by 1/4 and dividing by 4 are the same thing, aren't they? Yep. Okay. Now, if we have the division, if we have it as P over D, then how do we solve for one of the numbers? With fractions, you have to do what? Multiply by the reciprocal. So if we're trying to get rid of D, then multiply by what? D over 1. Okay? So then that leaves P on the right side. And when we multiply this by D over 1, we simply have DQ. Very clean. DQ equals fraction. No.
No $5 lunch?
Number 6. Paradise? Maybe paradise is better.
It's close.
R equals 2S minus 8.
Wow.
Right? Now, we have to leave S on the right side. So now we have to get rid of 2 things that are on the right side. Hunter, what should we get rid of first?
Probably the
The what?
-8.
The negative 8, yes. So how can we remove the negative 8?
Add it.
Think. Yep. Add what, class? Add 8.
Number.
Add 8 to both sides. Can we add R plus 8? That has to stay R plus 8. Okay? Right? So that means R plus 8 equals 2S, right?
That's not bad.
R plus 8 equals 2S. Okay? Now, here's where this gets a little bit more tricky. We haven't done a lot of these types of problems yet. But next year, Mrs. Lubitsky requires that you show the actual, show the multiplication this way, okay? Instead of dividing by 2. One of the reasons is that we have to multiply this by 1/2. Because we can do 1/2 times 8. Or, if you can remember it this way, another way to think of this is that if you multiply this side by 2, you have to multiply each of these, or divide, I should say, each of these terms by 2. Okay? So, how do we simplify this then? We cross off the 2's. Okay? We have 1S over here. Now, how do we simplify this? What's 1/2 times R? Henry? 1/2 R. And 1/2 times 8, or 8 divided by 2 is 4. That's an S. If it was a 5, it wouldn't make sense.
It makes sense.
2, 5. And then you solve for the 5. That doesn't make sense.
Or if R was 2, wrong.
Number 7. 2/3 m minus 5 equals n. Again, we have to get rid of the -5 first, right? So, talk me through this one, class. Add 5 to both sides. So 2/3 m equals what, class?
N plus 5.
Yep. N plus 5. Then multiply.
Multiply by the reciprocal of 2/3.
Yep. Multiply this by 3/2. You see how you have to distribute that then? So these cancel. M is equal to 3/2 n. 3/2 n plus, what's 3/2 times 5? Henry? 7.5, yep, or 15/2, which is 7.5, yeah, 7.5. Good. All right, let's go on to number 8. Oops, I think I have number 8 on this one. Here's the example of number 8. We're going to solve for A on this one. So, the first thing we have to do, because we're starting with a fraction, is to get rid of the fraction. Okay? So, multiply to get rid of the fraction. Multiply everything by 2/1 on both sides. Copy this down. Unless you got this one. Multiply everything by 2. Now, once you get rid of the fraction, you just have a plus b equals 2m. Then, it's pretty easy to remove the b on this side. Add negative b. It should be a plus negative. So, a is equal to 2m minus b. The hard thing is remembering to get rid of the fraction first. You look at that and think, how do you get rid of this? Or how do you get rid of the b? Right? So to get rid of the fraction first, that's what you have to do. When you have a fraction there, you can get rid of that fraction first, okay? All right, those are some sample problems. Those are the different types of problems that you're going to need to know how to transform for the test.